chronically awesome friends, I'm Styna. Welcome back to Sick, Tired, and Alone, the YouTube channel about dealing with chronic illness alone, which is only half as depressing as it sounds. I have been wearing my neck brace more frequently lately because my neck has been extra shitty. I was at the store the other day and the cashier asked me if I was in a car accident. And it took me a moment to really process and understand why she even asked that. I realized that I've grown so accustomed to it that I forgot that it's not normal. And so I started thinking about all the other things that I've grown so accustomed to that I just forget that they're not normal. And in forgetting, I'm not talking about the actual piece of garbage that my memory is. I'm just talking about I forget the things because I'm so used to them. And I do want to clarify, just because you're used to something, just because you've grown accustomed to it, doesn't necessarily make it easier to deal with. We do get a lot of, well, if you're always in pain, then you must be used to it. Yeah, kind of, but that doesn't mean it doesn't suck. So here are some other things that I've realized I sometimes forget as a chronically ill person. This is probably the thing that I forget most often, which is that being sick isn't normal. I'm sure it's a privilege for me that I'm able to forget that. I'm at a point in my life where most of the people I socialize with, whether it be in real life or online, are either chronically ill themselves or they're very understanding of chronic illnesses. And being that I don't leave my house very often, I don't deal with the stereotypical healthy people. I used to deal with them a lot, and I don't deal with them so much anymore. And it's to the point where I sometimes forget healthy people exist. And when it's flooded back into my memory, it's usually because I see one of my friends on Facebook posting about this trip that they're on, and I'm catching myself thinking, oh man, how do they have the energy to do that? Or they're gonna be in so much pain afterwards. And I realize that's not how healthy people's bodies work. Another thing that I forget is that it's not generally considered appropriate to discuss bodily functions. Online with other chronically ill people, that's the thing that we talk about really frequently because that's a big deal in most of our lives. We get so used to talking to our doctors and nurses about it. It doesn't faze me anymore when someone's leaning in and whispering, I gotta find a bathroom. It's like, yeah, your stomach about to explode? I feel ya. There's one right down that aisle. And we know where all the bathrooms are. We have them memorized and we know which ones the employees won't let you use. It doesn't faze chronically ill people to talk about bodily functions because that's just a thing in our lives now, is bodily functions not functioning the way that bodily functions should function. Another thing I forget is that there are people who can eat whatever they want. They don't have to scour the ingredients before they buy something. They don't have to worry about having a reaction to the food. They don't have to make special requests at restaurants. They can go to restaurants. And what especially blows my mind is that I used to be one of them. I don't remember what it's like to not have to worry about what you're eating and that it's going to piss your body off. There is one restaurant that I still eat at. It's called Portia's Cafe. The entire restaurant is gluten-free and vegan, so you don't have to worry about cross-contamination because there's nothing in there to contaminate anything else. But it's in Columbus and it's about an hour away from me. Another thing that I sometimes forget is that I'm sick. There will be a few moments when I wake up and I just sort of forget. Then I sit up or stand up or move and very quickly remember. But I also have these tiny forgetful moments throughout the day. If there's a small fragment of time where I don't feel particularly bad, I'll start to think I could go do this or go do that today. And then I remember that I'm sick and I can't do it. And it still shocks me that I'm able to forget I'm sick sometimes, but I've been wearing glasses since I was 16 and I still forget that I wear glasses sometimes. So maybe that is part of me just having a really bad memory, but I think it's more the whole being accustomed to it and just forgetting that it's not normal to feel this way. I also sometimes forget that there was a time before I was sick. I can look back and notice symptoms that I've had for a long time and just thought they were normal, and they weren't. But I didn't start developing symptoms that really affected my life until I was around 18. And I did a lot of living before that age and before my illnesses got to the point where it changed the way that I had to live my life. Up until I was probably around 20, I was very spontaneous and moderately irresponsible. I think I had moved like 20 some times by the time I was 20 years old. But I made a lot of memories. And now, the way that I have to live my life, it doesn't even seem like the same person to me because I can't comprehend being able to live that way. I have those memories to draw from, but it's still, I forget that there was a time before I was sick. Another thing that I forget is that most people are relatively unfamiliar with the majority of chronic illnesses. Most of them can't even pronounce what I have, let alone do they know what it is. If we get to talking about my illnesses and I say myalgic encephalomyelitis, you usually get like most of the way through myalgic, and then you see their eyes start to glaze over. When I say that I have POTS, I usually get one of two reactions. One is that they get excited, or two is that they get judgmental, because in both of those situations they think I said pot. But I'm, again, privileged to mostly deal with people on the internet who are chronically ill, and even if they don't have the same chronic illnesses that I do, most of us in the chronic illness community, we're relatively familiar with each other's illnesses. Another thing I forget is that not everyone understands my limitations, or that I have limitations. As an extension from that, I forget that I don't look sick, because I feel sick like all the time. And people within the chronic illness community are so accepting of each other and so non-judgmental, because we all know that you can't tell by looking at someone whether or not they have a disability. I forget that healthy people don't always realize that, or don't accept it, that you can't just look at someone and tell whether or not they're sick or disabled. So when I'm using my cane, or when I have my brace on, or when I have to sit down in the middle of a store, when I have to stop and catch my breath going upstairs, and people give me a look, or they're confused, I forget, one, that these things aren't normal, and two, that they don't realize that these are limitations that I have, and they don't understand why I have them. Another thing that I sometimes forget is that most people aren't so close with their doctors. They see their doctors maybe once or twice a year. They might not even see the same doctor every time. They probably go to the same clinic and maybe just see whoever could see them that day. Chronically ill people, we get on like a first name basis with our doctors, especially when we find a good one who listens to us and actually genuinely wants to help us. That doctor is becoming our new BFF. 3 a.m. on a Tuesday, we'll be sending them emails. It's only happened once, and it was about a medical related issue, so it's totally appropriate. But I forget that that's not a thing that normal people do, and they don't go to their doctor like, every month or every week. They're not usually so comfortable talking to their doctor in a casual manner. I was talking to my neurologist at my last appointment. To him, I called my cardiologist an asshole. He didn't bat an eye. Another thing I forget is that healthy people aren't usually very comfortable talking about chronic illnesses. They don't know how to react to sick people or interact with us a lot of the time. If they're a shitty person, their first instinct is to be bitchy about it, automatically not believe you, or try to call you out on something. But then the other reaction that is common is they want to feel bad for you, and that's not what we want at all. In fact, most of us generally have a really dark sense of humor about our illnesses, because that is how we cope. That is certainly how I cope. When we start to joke about our illnesses, healthy people usually get really uncomfortable with that. But that's sort of how we interact with each other online, is just constant sarcasm about our illnesses. So those are some things that I tend to forget being a chronically ill person. Let me know in the comments below what kind of things you sometimes forget, if they're the same as what I forget, or if there's something completely different. Feel free to like, subscribe, and follow me on social media stuff if you want to. I'm not that entertaining, so I wouldn't really advise it, but you can if that's the kind of thing that you're into. Remember that even if you are alone, you are never actually alone. I will see you all next time, my chronically awesome friends, but until then and always, take care. Come here. Come up here so everyone can see that I'm not talking to myself. Come here. Come here, Dave. Come here. Good boy. Oh, that's a good boy. Hi. Yes, I love you too. I love you too, but you're very noisy. We're taking it back to the Victorian times here, and I think I look fabulous, okay? I might get some Sharpie on here. Probably not, because that sounds like a bad idea. But I'm rocking this. We get on like first name basis. I feel like I forgot something and I don't know what it was, so I guess that just sort of goes along with the theme of the video. And I have to then clarify, no, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And then I have to explain what it is because most people don't know what those words mean. And I can't blame them because I didn't know what they meant until I had to learn them because I developed them. So like when someone leans in and whispers like, Digby, stop. You guys, I made a list again. I'm so proud of myself. I never would have gotten through this if I didn't make the list because my memory card is rather small and I run out of space really quickly. Like I have to get these videos filmed within like 30 minutes of content and I'm not good at doing that because I ramble a lot. I think that's it.